And by the way, Jim Riley, Joe Zilli, Gary Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Perlita Quinn, Ellen Anderson, Don Wiley, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, 1961 Oyster Cracker Man, Biddy Bat 4, Blue Boy Boxes, GPS Robo Rapist Night, Red Randy, Red Gordon, and Ellery's. If you guys can't even look your opponent in the face, it means you've lost. Alright, Perlita, it means you go around making up shit. Alright, Perlita, you have to torture. Do what you want, Perlita. It means you've always made up shit with your groupie friends of the LGBT and all that. If you can't look your opponent in the face, you've lost. So Perlita, if you can't look at your opponent like the Japanese in the face, or the Chinese or the Koreans, you've lost. If you can't look your opponent of the Israelis or the Russians in the face, you've lost. The Germans, if you can't look them in the face, Perlita, even the military people out here have looked me in the face. Come on, Perlita. Police officers have, so but the group of you running around with your broadcasty fade out Indian stuff, Perlita, they don't. So if you can't do that, Perlita, when you're making that accusation when there was nothing wrong 5 years ago, but you have this whole drama story going with your tabloid, that means you're a coward like Joe and you lost. Okay, if you can't look your opponent in their face, Perlita, and you do that shit, it means you backstab and you've lost. Negroes, if you can't look your opponent in the face, it means you've lost to a higher power. Okay, Perlita, you lead a dysfunctional group. Judy Shepard, if you can't look your opponent in the face, you've lost. Understand, Perlita, Karen Faust of the Country and Western, if you can't look your opponent in the face, Stan, Steve, Brian Faust, if you can't look your opponent in the face, that means you've lost. Okay? So, Ellery, when you make an accusation to, like, Lords of Acid, Praga Khan, and about bed bugs or lice, crap louse CD, if you can't look your opponent in the face when you make an accusation simply based upon a CD, that means you lost. So if you do it to the French, that means you've lost. If you've done it to England, and you guys have complained about England a lot, if you can't look at the Queen in the face, an opponent, then that means you've lost. I'm just using an old martial arts technique. See, Perlita, you have to, if you're going to fight martial arts, you have to look your opponent in the face. So you know. So if you're going to make up a story, Perlita, of your ghetto right to survive, and you can't look at the people in the face of the world that you're making all that shit up to, that means you've lost. Perlita, Quinwan. There's a big difference. Politicians look people in the face. Hollywood celebrities, stuff like that. They do it for real, Perlita. Alright? The military's done it, police officers done it, firefighters even done it. So that means they have respect for what they do. Understand, Perlita? Even DOD come out and do it. So, hiring a bunch of actors, Bernard, doesn't work. Understand? Understand this, Bernard. That's why you can, prove it. Whispering faggot a fair amount. If you cannot look your opponent in the face, and this is where I got you, Dave, in that group, in that nasty shit you all do. Especially to the dead or the wounded or the sick. If you can't look them in the face and they're dead and you take their shit, Joe, pedophile, britches, you guys is hovering over, you can't see the children can't see the adult men's face to make sure they can get, guess what, you lost. Get it, Joe, Perlita, Dave, you operate a pretty sick, nasty thing of cowardry. Okay, Perlita? That's why you look like shit, smell like shit, and you take leadership from a piece of shit. If you can't look your opponent in the face, which is the first part, you don't even have to throw a blow. If you can't do it, you've lost. It's just like not telling them your name kind of ideal. He's kind of right. Your enemy, your opponent should have the right to know your name. Because sometimes that is all it needs to know, so you can learn from your master the technique. Then you become friends or whatever. But even then, Perlita, you, Bernard, the BB4, all that shit that you guys have gone through with that Oyster Cracker Man and his shit, the Antilla Man, if you can't look your opponent in your face, if your nose is pointed up in the air, snobby, then you've lost. And Harry and Joe and Bernard and the Robo Knight, and you guys keep making up these accusations that ain't true, and you keep doing it out here 3 or 4 times in a row, Bernard. You know why? You're a lying scoundrel piece of shit. That's how I know you're a liar, Bernard. You run a rapist cult. Understand? GPS Robo Knight of Jonestown and the Indian tribe. So when you're all doing that shit, Perlita, and your Indian faded out and you can't look your opponent in the face, then you've lost. If you can't look at Paul Marino or Aaron Freeman or Victor Freeman or Justin or Jim in the face or Brian Miller in the face, Perlita, or Heidi Beswick or Kimberly or Bailey or my cousins in the face while you make these accusations, that means you're lost. That means you're just a shit-talking chick, Perlita Jones Quinwan. Understand? Understand now, Perlita? You can lead all the military armies in the world, but if you cannot stand at attention and salute and look at your commanding officer in the face, then you lost. So you can do your thing, Perlita, but you know, you're way, way far behind when it comes down to military leadership, because I went to school for it. So, you know, Perlita, you know, I was raised by a military man. I didn't go to boot camp, but I pay attention to some things. And guess what? Here we got boot camp for the group of you. Team Bitted Fat and Can't Do It Bitted Hillary. And Steely of the Bitted in your game, Perlita. And for 5 years you guys can't handle it. And you make up a story with Bernardo the Carney. And they shit Pirates broadcast with the El Cortez theme. And World War II, Vietnam, Pearl Harbor. You guys want to fight for something for the veterans, and you don't know what you're talking about. So, I know, Perlita, your group there can't handle boot camp. LGBT can't handle the boot camp. And this is the simple boot camp. So, if you want to be Navy SEAL or fighter pilot, the group of you have a long way to go. You have a long way to go on that one. That's why I choose Navy. And the Disney girls, because, you know, Boots does it. She's good. She's good at it. You know, the girls are getting into it. And I'm not going to stop them, Perlita, because they like it. I'm not going to stop the kids from doing it. You know, you can't take their gift away from them this time, Perlita, because, you know, those guys are figuring it out, and they're helping out their children instead of a bunch of fighting idiots. So, Perlita, tell all the story with Harry and Dave all you want, psychopath. But what he's doing is all that shit that he does that ain't in consciousness. It proves that he killed Kim. Understand? It proves until a man, or, you know, robo-rapist that took her head. The small fry, he was intimidated by the short one too. Or the tall one, you know, Team Fat, Bitted. But don't, Perlita, you guys ruined their stuff out there. You ruined my home, my family's home. And that's what you do, Perlita. Karen Faust, she got her country and western with Taco Joe, the rapist, and that's just what you're gonna be, Joe. If you can't look at your other daughters in the face because you screwed them over, Joe, and you're running around with other people's stuff, that's your fucking problem, dude. But, Perlita, they're letting you run your dictatorship. And guess what? Other known leaders of the world that even been called dictators, they show their face. And so, you know, Perlita, they actually even, you know, do interviews. They'll tell you their side of the story sometimes, but the whole point is, Perlita, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. But you can run back and forth with Bernard and Carney and wherever you're going to go, the village at the time, or your mansion down south, or whatever, Perlita. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people sick of you, because you cause problems and ruin it out there with your campaign. And if you ruin other people's campaign, guess what? If Randy's going to raise his flag around for you, guess what? Those people that you screwed over, Perlita, get to wave their flag and screw over your campaign. Do you understand? Tit for tat. If they try to set up something nice for the group of you and you guys keep screwing it up, Perlita, you just have to wait a little bit longer, and guess what? They'll eventually come back and slam your ass to the ground. Understand? So don't fuck with the Hollywood celebrities in their home, Perlita, because this is where a lot of places start. And you're gonna piss off not Jay Beswick, but Jay Leno, or, you know, those people who know a little bit more, the Star Trek crew, you know, Leonard Nimoy, you know, William Shatner, Tom Cruise, all those people who've been here a little bit longer on the earth than you, Perlita. You could go ahead and challenge that with Joe, but they have an answer times 2. Who are the ones who keep fucking it up for everyone? So, Perlita, I have 3 of you who are like Carney jealous performers, actually 4 of you, with big fat asses, and they'd always keep getting in the way. So, Perlita, it just the pattern starts to form about what you're doing with those guys, and guess what? We're sick of it. Understand, Perlita, if you and your cowboy hillbillies can't show their face like normal people, you can't put your face on the street or, you know, face your true opponent, then you lost, Perlita. And that's why some people make fun of the Asians or the Russians or the Japanese or, the Germans or whoever. The Israelis or the Jews. I like them. Because I've got to meet some, but I don't live over there. But you guys don't give them a fair chance here as a country in Western think that all-American is the way to go. And Joe, all-American until they don't always want to be all-American. And they don't always want to be LGBT in country in Western. And that's a lesson that Karen Faust and Bernardo the Carney and some of them have to learn. You can't force your ideals on everyone. That's the whole point of this. That's what politics and stuff is for. And if they wanted it, it would have worked. But, there's already 100 years of Joe Zilligan, you guys' country in Western, that didn't work. It's all warfare. That's what they're trying to tell you guys. It's full of disease, prisons. You don't want it. But you, Perlita, and your laziness and your team, you always go for that shit for some reason, and then you guys complain that everybody's fucked up. So, Perlita, your tenure of leadership, this is the example around the earth of what somebody like you does when they don't get their way. It's called spoiled. You're part of Team Spoiled Michigani with Joe. And you guys fucked up their shit up there, Vermont, on the East Coast, West Coast, because you guys got to do the ghetto gangster style. And you don't want it. I'm even trying to help your people now, Perlita, but you just you don't want it. That's why the conditions not as good down there in the South as it could be, because you guys want to run ghetto. And so it makes it harder for people to get resource stuff down there to help them when you're hostile and you want to be terrorists, Perlita. That's another message I'm trying to convey to the people in the Middle East. They're not so bad, but, you gotta stop that shit in order for people to help you. So, for my military here in the United States to be more efficient, you have to give them the bigger paycheck, and you gotta stop fighting so they can help you, so they can devote their resources into doing those things, because I'm pretty sure they might much rather do that than blow each other up. But, Perlita, if you're going to incite, try to get nuclear war going, you best be careful with Dave and all of that, with that Robo Knight and all of them. Because, we've gone through it before, and you won't live, Perlita. But you can try, and your right to survive during that time period, during a nuclear holocaust, if that's what you're trying to do, is not going to be too good. So if you think it's bad now, be careful. Be careful. You don't want it, because you won't live. Most people won't. So be careful. This is why you don't want to go around doing the bitten and screwing up people's eyes and their faces stuff, Perlita, because we need that. Some people needed that to get something to work. But you're a jealous idiot, a failed Carney actor, and I really don't give a shit if you're Joe's little Banshee Indian, Perlita. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you're the most special child in the world because of a computer system. It shows me your weakness with your group. And that's the whole point. If you're trying to get up into space and to beat the Gattaca, Perlita, it's called, you have to have a different point of view with your friends and an attitude. I don't care if you're Ghetto and have all the money and you made your own super castle, but it's not as good as it could be because you're only using 10% of your brain to create the castle because you stole all this stuff to create the castle instead of using the 100% of the brain of those you took from. Understand how it works, Perlita. That's why they're going to evolve better than you in the future, because they carry a different ideal and they actually will take the time to spend a few extra $1,000 to get my stuff that you guys tried to erase and then use it later in the future while they watch the group of you spin around in circles on the hamster wheel again, which I tried to get you off. But if you like the Carney hamster wheel and Antella Man copying the idea, oh, now we get it, now we want it, after he fucked up all of our shit, then, you know, it proves me the three men who fucked it up, Perlita, because they're, you know, their mindset that they shouldn't have had it at all. So, that's you guys' problem. You make a mess, figure out how to make your own, and fix it yourself. But, you know, you guys are rapists and fucked it up anyway, because you didn't take it seriously. And the proof of it's everywhere through the nation. So, you guys have to fix it, but when you make a new set, it's not gonna be what you think, and it's not gonna be like how they originally did it, because the way you guys do it is a pretty sick and disgusting way, Perlita, and I really don't have any interest in it.